Hey there, I'm Lyn Muldrow, Senior Maintainer Advocate here at TideLift, and I want to welcome you to our 5-Minute Maintainers, where we introduce you to open source maintainers who contribute to the software you depend on. We'll ask 5 big questions in 5 minutes, and we're always open to suggestions for questions on our community at community.tidelift.com. I have Pierre with me today. I'll let Pierre introduce yourself in our first question. Who are you? Tell us about yourself and the projects you maintain.
So I'm a French software engineer and I'm maintaining pylint and Asteroid mainly. I'm also maintaining a lot of other packages, but those are the main one.
Cool. So nice to meet you, Pierre. My second question for you is, how did you get started in open source?
So I started by contributing to Wikipedia when I was a teenager. So I was contributing back when I was doing research for school, for example. So I had to warn the teacher that I was the one who wrote the article after contributing, because plagiarizing is a problem. So after that, I had a sysadmin that mentored me toward working in open source. So we had a project that was used in bar and restaurant around Rouen. So I contributed to that. It stopped in the following years because the law was too, constraints were too important. And then I started to contribute a lot to Pylint and was a maintainer at some point. And I've been releasing the 10 last minor version of Pylint. So
Awesome. Thank you for that, Pierre. It's so cool how you can get started in all different sorts of spaces, and Wikipedia is a great place to start. Thank you for sharing. My third question for you is, what do you think about the state of open source today?
So I don't know about the whole open source ecosystem, but where I'm at, it's pretty great because of TideLift in particular. It's very nice being paid to maintain open source. I was maintaining already. And in the global ecosystem, I think a lot of enterprises are contributing to open source, which was not the case when I was younger, because it was more like Microsoft was very anti-open source. And no, it's not the case anymore. So it's pretty great.
My fourth question is, have you heard of the open source supply chain? And if you have, what are your thoughts of being asked to be a supplier in the supply chain for enterprise and government users?
So yeah, so I'm a part of the supply chain, and it's pretty great because it means my work is impactful. So I have some responsibility to not break things. It might be a burden sometimes, but I'm trying my best to not create mayhem.
That's all we can do, you know? And my last question for you is, what's one piece of advice that you'd give someone considering creating and sharing an open source project?
So I would advise them against joining a project that they do not use anymore, because it means you're not relevant anymore to make change to it. Because if you make a change and then you don't realize you broke something, it's going to be bad and it's going to take your time away from you. I would advise to give it back to the community instead and delegate and let the person that are actually using it contribute to it. And if they do not care enough to maintain it, then, well, the project can die. You don't have to burn yourself out for project.
Thank you for that, Pierre. And Pierre, that was our 5 big questions. Thank you so much for your time. If you'd like to watch this recording again, you can catch it on community.tylif.com, on our blog, and on your favorite podcast app. Thank you very much.